Hello, my loves. Welcome back to Chemistry with Kismet Tarot. I am Monica, the Kismet Chemist. If you are new to my channel, welcome to the family. I am honored to have you here. If you are returning, welcome back. I have missed you. Libra rising. We gotta talk, dude. Okay, so first of all, before I even get into anything, I gotta tell you, I sat here prepping for your pile in a way that I haven't had to for anybody else. First of all, thank you. Thank you for that energy, because that energy is the reason why my desk is nice and neat again and why I feel like I am more orderly and way more balanced. You have this clean it up energy coming in for you during Scorpio season. Now, I get the sense that you may have felt chaotic. You may have felt as though you're making decisions randomly on the fly that while they probably feel right and resonate with you, it's kind of like, I don't do this. Like, I'm a Libra. I don't do this. I weigh my options. I'm very careful. I think all things through, and then I make, an educated, informed decision. And I get the sense that you didn't do that. Like, you were like, screw it all. I'm going to do what I want to do. And that's a really good thing, because it's really, truly, radically transformed your energy. Now, I got to tell you guys. So first of all, we're working through Scorpio season, and Scorpio season this year is a big season. We've got the partial solar eclipse in Scorpio on the 25th. We have Samhain. We have Mars retrograding in the sign of Gemini. And we also have, whoa, my brain just shut off. We also have the full moon and the total lunar eclipse in Taurus. We have these massive transformational energies that we're going to be working with. And when I say working with, I mean for decades to come, if not for centuries to come, we are going to be working with these energies. These are powerful times, powerful energies. Now, we are just coming off of Libra season. We are just coming off of a you season, and we're moving directly into your second house season. And so we are focusing again on you to start with, and with these moon cycles, but we are going into how you define your sense of self-worth, how you define your sense of value, of worth in the world, but worth in general in everything. Now, if you've been on my channel for some time, you know that during the month of October, or spooky season, we are working with the witch runes, and those are already separated here. But instead of doing an overall witch rune, I actually was drawn more towards using the Elder Futhark runes as the overall energies for Scorpio season for Libra rising signs. And try as I might, because I didn't want repeat symbols, and this has happened with only 2 signs where I've had repeat symbols, but try as I might to put AWAS back, it kept coming out, and it kept coming out, and it kept coming out. And AWAS means horse. Now, it's not necessarily a horse as in like the equine. It does mean that, but this is more about what the horse represents. This is about action, teamwork, trust, working together, working with others. But more than anything, this is about working with yourself, with your shadow self, with your ego, with your inner child, with your divine feminine and divine masculine energies. It's working with your surroundings, with what you have. And it's learning how to work with new energies and ways of being that you may not be accustomed to. Now, when it comes to you Libras, if you haven't noticed, I'm fidgeting a lot with things. There's this kind of almost perfectionist energy that I am picking up from you guys. I don't know what this is. I don't know what's going on in each of your individual lives, but there was a message that I got. And see, Leo got the same rune, but a significantly different message. The message that you are getting is, it isn't wrong to ask for help. So whatever it is that you did, whether it's overhauling a room or a business or a mindset or whatever, it isn't wrong to ask for help. Your guides want you to ask for help. Spirit wants you to ask for help. And I'm sitting here looking at your overall energies, and I can see why. You need someone to help pull you out of the space that you're in a lot of areas of your life. And this is not a negative reflection on you, Libras. You're the peacekeepers, the peacemakers. You want life to be positive. And so you can find yourself striving and struggling to get to that so hard, so fast that you actually sacrifice that because you sacrifice yourself. And there is a difference between healthy self-sacrifice and self-sabotaging self-sacrifice. And I have the feeling that a lot of you have been learning that during Libra season, what it means to sacrifice oneself in a healthy way and what it means to sacrifice oneself in a very unhealthy way. So we are going to be moving through the 2nd, the 5th, the 8th, and the 11th house through these moon phases for you, Libra risings. And each of these piles correlates to a moon phase. We have the 2nd house, the 5th house, the 8th house, and the 11th house. So with the 2nd house, we are talking about the October 25th partial solar eclipse, and you have the 5 of Wands and the Sun card. Some of you may be seeing light orbs a lot lately, angelic orbs. I literally just saw one out of the corner of my eye when I turned. If you have been, this is your confirmation. You're not going crazy. You're not going blind. You don't have a brain tumor, nothing like that. You're just seeing angels. Then we are going to move into your 5th house and focus on your relationships. And this is primarily your relationships. With every other pile, I have focused on creative self-expression and the inner child and everything like that. But I literally heard, no, we are focusing on relationships. You guys have some different guides coming in. Guides you're not used to, guides who are harder than what you're used to. And with you being Libras, you guys are genuinely a gentle creature. You're like the Bambis of the zodiac to me, when you want to be. But I do know you have that like Judge Judy edge to you. But with this one in particular, I am feeling a really kind of tough love guide. So I want you guys to be aware of this before we move into them, just in case it becomes a little bit triggering. We're going to be focusing on your perception of romance and love in the guise of your relationships. And this will be in your 5th house. And we have the 8 of Swords with the Rings rune. And then we are going to be moving into your 8th house and the total lunar eclipse in Taurus on November 8th. And we are going to be focusing solely on the eclipse patterns. We're not going to be focusing on anything else but the partial solar eclipse and the total lunar eclipse. And this is in your 8th house. So this is the house of the occult and the spiritual realms. And we are going to be looking at the card omens as well as the eye rune. And then we are going to close out the Scorpio season with the 3rd quarter moon in Leo. And this is happening in your 11th house. So this is about your hopes, your dreams, your wishes, your goals, and your future and your business endeavors and how to turn them into a lucrative, wealthy endeavor in this world. And we have the King of Wands and the Romance rune. So without further ado, I am going to pause it and get stuff set up for the partial solar eclipse in Scorpio on October 25th in your 2nd house. Okay, Libra, we are back. We are going to be focusing on the October 25th partial solar eclipse in Scorpio. No, like I said before, this is happening in your 2nd house. This is about your self-value, your self-worth, your inheritances, your ancestral patterns, but your familial inheritances as well. With you, Libras, I gotta say, like, I'm getting such a strong, like, clean it up, fix it, clean it up, fix it energy. And I can't tell if it's your energy or if it's one of your guides or it's like some combination of the two is what I'm getting. And I got to tell you guys, I feel deeply uncomfortable right now. it's a very unfamiliar energy to me. And because it's an unfamiliar energy to me, even though I've been doing, readings like this, I get the sense that this is an energy that you're not familiar with. And I promise you, this is not my energy. I'm literally holding selenite to make sure that I have my energy cleared. But there's just this almost, it almost makes my solar plexus feel challenged, not out of balance, but challenged. There's a deep challenge energy here. So let's talk about the eclipse collectively so that we can help you get to where you need to be. For the eclipse patterns and throughout the moon cycles, I actually took the numerology of the dates to give some extra emphasis on the energies that we're working with. And this is a 14-5 or a temperance and hierophant kind of day. This is about alchemizing the past structures for a new beginning. And all solar eclipses or lunar eclipses give us a chance to eclipse something in or out of our lives. But this is a very particular one about alchemy. It is about transforming things. It's about taking the pieces, the broken pieces of what was, and creating something new, creating a new beginning in life in some area. This is about your self-worth, your self-value. So we are beginning a new 56-year eclipse cycle. They're called Saros cycles, and it happens every 18 years, occurring in the sign of Scorpio. Excuse me. This is happening in the first decan of Scorpio, or the first 10 degrees of Scorpio. So if you have any planets in those 10 degrees, they're going to be hyper amplified and deeply impacted. Now, and I don't know why I keep saying now for you guys, but it's just coming out. We are going to be talking about transforming the Scorpion, transforming that lower Scorpio energy, and healing the sting from the past surrounding your love of self. If my voice gets a little far, don't worry. I'm letting my cat in the office. There you go. It's about transforming the love of yourself and the ways in which you perceive love of the self through the lens of loss of love from the past. So, and I say loss, LOSS, because I realized it sounded almost like lots of love from the past, and so I wanted to enunciate enough. This is how losing love and failed relationships and failed commitments have led you, or led all of us, because this is collective energy, have led us to believing that we are not worthy of love, that we are not worthy to love ourselves. And us being able to actually eclipse that out of our lives, just willingly be like, hey, spirit, I'm giving this up to you. I see the value in it. I understand what it brought to my life, but I don't want it anymore. And spirit's going to go, okay, whoop, and just take it out, because that's how we're meant to work with spirit. So during this moon phase, Mars is out of bounds in the sign of Gemini. And this is a huge, huge deal kind of energy. Mars being out of bounds means that Mars isn't following any astrological rules. There's no way that we can predict how Mars is going to be based off of the traditional astrology. Because when a planet goes out of bounds, they are no longer under the guise of the sun, so they are no longer following any of the traditional astrological rules. Every time Mars goes out of bounds, every time Mars goes retrograde that I've seen, Mars is out of bounds, and that means that Mars doesn't give a fuck, basically. And if you want to be able to, if you want to work with Mars's energy instead of against it, which I strongly suggest for anyone, please consider going and getting my Mars retrograde guidebook. It's available on Amazon in paperback, ebook, and Kindle Unlimited. It is going to be an invaluable resource. I can already tell you that, because I can already feel the energies, but I could feel them as I was working through them. The anger, the rage, the internal dialogues, the chaos, the mayhem. Trust me when I say This book was 100% divinely led. I barely remember what I wrote in it, but it was like I was consumed by the energy of Mars while I was writing it. It was one of the most profound experiences of my life. But Mars out of bounds is making a harmonious trine with the Sun, the Moon, and Mercury, who is still in Libra. Excuse me, I keep yawning. This is about finding creative solutions so that we can bring more balance into our communications. So we can transform the ways in which we communicate within ourselves, with ourselves, and through conflicts in our interpersonal relationships. Now, Black Moon Lilith is also out of bounds in the sign of Cancer. And this is making, Black Moon Lilith is making a harmonious trine with the Sun, the Moon, and Venus in Scorpio. This is about nurturing and mothering the self and the heart from the losses, the lack of loyalty, and the feeling of being abandoned into the murkiness of being trapped in the past, so that we can set an intention and a purpose to free the heart through loving and nurturing ourselves the way that we would love and nurture others. The other huge factor is Pluto. Pluto is in Capricorn still. Pluto is now direct, but Pluto is at the 26th degree of Capricorn. So that is the critical degree, the final critical degree of Capricorn. That means that Pluto is hyper amplified in the skies right now. It's like a pressure cooker energy for us to change. And that is what Pluto wants us to do, change. It's shit or get off the pot kind of stuff. And I apologize for my potty mouth. It's just been coming out lately. And so I'm just kind of rolling with whatever it is that comes out, because I have one specific guide who she's got a bit of a sass to her. But Pluto at this critical degree is squaring off with the Sun, Moon, Mercury, and Venus. So we have all of this really deep tension energy with Pluto. And Pluto is trying to show us that the true purpose of transformation and healing is literally just to heal. Like, healing and transformation is solely for us to heal the self. It's not to be seen outwardly as a success. It's not to be lauded and praised and whatever. It's literally so that we can see our own personal worth in doing this stuff. And it's going to be this kind of pressure on our mind to turn the corner, to walk away from this belief that, hey, praise me, look at me, look at me, look at me. And I don't mean this in a negative way, because I genuinely know the ways in which we transform our lives. Really, we really should be praised for transforming our lives, but we should not be seeking praise because we transformed our lives. We should just receive it because we did it. So it's essentially Pluto is saying, if you are going through a transformation within yourself because you want people to be like, oh my gosh, you're so amazing. I can't believe you did this. That's your intent, is to receive that. Pluto is basically wanting to slap your hand and say, get your fingers out of the cookie jar. This is not that. You need to realize that this is about something deeper, something more profound, something more important than an ego stroke. This is about something greater than that. And that's what Pluto is trying to get us to understand collectively. Not just you, Libra, but everyone collectively. He's asking us to surrender to transforming the way that we view these things. It's to transform the past structures, because the reason why we go through these things and we want an ego boost for it or an ego stroke for it is because we don't have a high enough awareness of our emotionality, of how to ground our emotions and how to verbalize our emotions. Pluto is putting pressure on us to learn this, to ground our emotions into our everyday life, and then to speak what we need emotionally so that we stop seeking to be praised for things that are just something that we should be doing. If that makes sense. I hope it does. So we're essentially being asked to take the edge off of the words that we speak to ourselves and to others, and really grounding our emotions. Now, we're also working on moving into a new cycle of wholeness within ourselves. This moon phase is helping us see that we are designed unique, but we are designed whole. And then bringing that into our everyday life and embracing the mystery of life as a whole individual, and bringing a greater balance into the collective and into the world. You're working with the Five of Wands, and the Sun energy. So, wow, yawning and burping. There's a lot of energy that needs to be transmuted here with you guys. And I keep wanting to qualify statements with you guys, and you're the first pile I feel like I need to do this. Like, I almost feel like I want to put kid gloves on, and at the same time I can hear one of your guides who is like, screw the kid gloves, they need like real talk. So Libra, if you are feeling hyper triggered right now, I'm going to encourage you to click off. Just because this is, I can already feel some hard truths coming here with this Five of Wands and this Sun energy, because you are in a firm, like, ego defensive state. And you're like, no, this is how it's going to be. No, this is how it's going to be. No, this is how it has to be. And the universe doesn't work that way. And I am telling you this because I've been through that phase in my own life where I was like, no, I have to win the lottery and it has to go like this and it has to be like this. And the universe literally put me in a box. They put me in like a spiritual prison, essentially. And they're like, no, Monica. So when I tell you that I've been in this energy and I know how hard it is to even just to acknowledge that you're in that energy, but not just acknowledge that you're in it, but get yourself out of it. I genuinely get it. I genuinely understand. I'm just gonna light some sage here, guys. I think we just need a little extra. But you're coming off of an energy of the Queen of Swords. And you are firmly in this judgment energy, which is why I could feel Pluto just kind of bearing down on you guys a lot more. Because Pluto is literally asking you to make a judgment call about some of the choices that you're making in your life that you're very stubborn on. And I say that with like deep, deep love here, because Pluto did the same thing to me. Personally, Pluto was like, hey, Monica, you know you're vaping still? Hey, Monica. You know you're doing this still? Hey, Monica. This is a mindset that you really need to change. This is not something that you should be thinking. And Pluto really, really, really pushed on me on this stuff. And the reason why Pluto is pushing on me on this stuff is because it was impacting my physical health. And when it starts impacting the physical health, then we really do need to make a change. Now, the reason why it was impacting my physical health is because Pluto is moving through my sixth house. But be that as it may, for you Libras, we're looking at the energy of your roots, your home. Like that's the energy. It's literally like it how much are you going to defend your position here if your position is calling you to really surrender more to the universe? Are you going to keep pushing and pushing and pushing and indulging yourself in these things that just aren't helping you? These mindsets that aren't helping you, or this way of behaving that isn't helping you? You have this moment of clarity. And that's what I get from the Queen of Swords. Like, you had this moment of clarity, but as soon as you had the moment of clarity and that judgment bell rang for you, you went straight into defending yourself to everything and everyone. And I don't even get this, like, you're fighting with other people at all. I'm getting you doing like insurgent fighting within yourself. I don't know why the word insurgent came through. But it's like you're fighting internally, but you're also fighting with your guides and you're fighting with the universe, and they're literally just trying to be like, okay, the universe doesn't take away the things that we love, like, okay, let me put it this way. I have a huge love for Oreo cookies. I love Oreo cookies. I still eat Oreo cookies. I just temper my consumption. I don't sit down and eat 20 cookies in one sitting. I eat 4, maybe 5 if I'm like super hungry, but even that is a lot to take for me. But I don't overindulge myself on it. But I still eat things that in the spiritual community, they're going to tell you, oh, that's low vibe food. Oh, this is that. I don't buy into that. I just simply don't buy into it because the universe knows, hey, this is a special treat that you give yourself to unwind, to relax, and you're still going on walks. You're still doing yoga. You're still meditating. You're still doing this. You're like, so obviously you get this, but don't overindulge. This is what that energy is. They're trying to get you to cut down on certain things that you've been indulging in. But it doesn't mean that you have to cut everything out of your life and take all the good stuff and all of the benefits out of your life from things that other people are telling you are bad. Don't listen to other people. That's one of your biggest problems right now is you want to keep the peace with everybody else. So you're trying to please everybody else, but you need to think about what makes you feel valued, what makes you feel important, and not what makes you feel important and valued because your ego is getting boosted, but because you know your worth. That's what this judgment call is. Like these ego boosts, are they helping you or are they hindering you? And Libras, please trust me when I say I don't like giving these messages. I just am at the mercy of the way that the energy is coming in. So I want to get into the oracle messages because I don't want to, I genuinely am trying my damnedest not to offend anybody. I really am. So this is the Samhain oracle, and these are messages from the ancestors. And then the rest of them are from your guides. And spirit. So let's find out what your ancestors have to say. We have rebirth, the card 31. There's death in all that awakens, for it isn't blissful nor painless. It's a mighty rising, O flame resurrected. Yeah. Okay. So a rebirth process, going through a death and a rebirth process means that you have to really evaluate everything. Your ancestors are like, it's not going to be like being on ecstasy, but it's also not going to be, it isn't blissful nor painless. When you have to undergo a huge, massive transformation, and especially a transformation of self, when you cling to these mindsets and these needs and these beliefs that, well, I need this and I need that, like especially this energy that I'm picking up that has this outward view of success. That's Pluto's literally putting so much pressure on you right now because it's you're here to rebirth now. This is your rebirth time. It is not a blissful nor a painless experience. It's a mighty rising. If you were to think of yourself as walking into a fire, do you think that the flames licking you are not going to are going to feel good, or are they going to hurt? It's going to hurt. When you have to go through a transition, there are going to be pains. And I won't lie to you guys and be like, oh no, spiritual awakenings and spiritual rebirths are just so magical. Yeah, you know what? They're magical, but they're a bitch. They are a bitch to go through. And that's the brutal truth. It is so hard to go through, but you go through it for a reason. You go through it because this way of being, this constant defensive battle, like praise me, you honor me, love me, instead of just loving yourself, that doesn't breed happiness. It doesn't breed joy. It doesn't breed anything other than pain. And you're being called, your ancestors are like, can you please walk through the fire? Endure the fire's pain instead of this pain that you're putting yourself through. Let these mindsets go because they're not doing you any good anymore. So let's get the messages from spirit. We have happiness, guys. And then the card 49, actions speak loudly. Express your love through actions. So this is literally like, remember that indulgence thing that we talked about? What actions are you taking? Are you taking actions that say, I love myself, I prioritize myself, I am taking care of myself? Or are you taking actions that your words say one thing and your actions say another? I don't want praise, but then it's like, why am I not getting X, Y, and Z? So for me, I had to get into an energy with my channel of I care about how my subscriber count goes, but it isn't the end all be all. So if my subscriber count goes up, that's super exciting. I get super excited. I don't get super nervous anymore. But if it goes down, then I still look and I'm like, oh, I have X amount of people that care about what I'm helping them with, that see the value in what I do. And so I focus on what I have, not what it looks like I'm losing, not what it looks like I'm gaining, but what I have. And in doing that, I lead forward in every action that I take in gratitude. Every moment of gratitude that I share on this channel is a genuine moment of gratitude. That is me taking action constantly in a state of gratitude. The actions that I do that speak loudly, think of it this way. I am here doing these messages. Am I god awful uncomfortable right now? Abso-fucking-lutely I am, because I don't like this kind of energy. And it's not that I don't like your energy, and I feel like I have to keep qualifying it. I hate it. Grr. This is me like fighting with your guides on it, like, because they want me to qualify and they know I do not like qualifying me personally. It's like placating. I just can't stand placating. But your guides are like, no, you need to qualify that you don't hate their energy. You hate the energy that we're putting you in, because your guides and my guides have me in some uncomfortable waters right now. The reason why is because they want you to understand that you're not the only one that experiences this. Actions speak really loudly. Right now, you can't see my actions. However, my actions were to clean up my space. I had to clean up my space. My actions were literally to get my sage lit and burning and right next to me, because I needed it next to me and burning to feel calm and centered in this energy that I am not a fan of. It's uncomfortable for me. And my guides and your guides knew it would be. They knew it would be uncomfortable for me, but they're still here helping guide me through it so I can help guide you. These are the actions that I am doing that is showing you the love that the universe has for you, that your guides have for you, enough to put a complete stranger, because we really don't know each other personally, put a complete stranger into your energy to help you understand the pieces that you're struggling with, to help you see the pieces that you are not able to see, and to help you find your way into the fire to endure that pain so that you can feel that true happiness. You need to learn how to take these actions as well. What actions are you taking? Are you taking actions that are in indulgences and in excess and in a state of battling and fighting? Or are you taking actions that are true to the calling of your soul? Now, I can't tell you that. I can't tell you that because I'm not in your shoes. I'm only in your energy. I can tell you that I want to believe the best of all people. So I want to believe that you are just being forewarned that this is an energy coming in for you. And so you want to be aware of it. I can tell you that that's what I'm really hoping. But I can't tell you definitively one way or the other which category, which side you fall in. Only you can. And that's why I'm here, to help you understand how to ask yourself those hard questions. Let's get the rest. We have prayers and wishes. Yeah, 14, thorns. Weave together the crown you deserve. There is a lot of energy of, like, if you think about the thorns, the thorns are what pricks you. But if you want to make a crown out of it, then you have to see what your worth is. This energy here is so different from here because this is such a warm energy. There's such warmth here, and this one almost seems washed out. So the prayers and wishes, even though I know that this card really isn't washed out, it's not a bad card at all. It's literally like there's this cold, desolate energy here. So you're throwing these coins into a wishing well and wishing and praying and hoping, but you're not seeing your own inherent value. And that's why you're struggling to touch this happiness right now, because you don't see your own inherent value. You see what it feels like is being taken from you and removed from you. And that's why your ancestors are saying a rebirth process, dude, it hurts. You think about a phoenix has to burst into flames and literally burn to death in order to be reborn. It's not an easy process, but there's no point in fighting it continually. You're meant to shine. You are meant to shine. So if you know you're meant to shine, why are you holding on to these certain things? Why not let them go? This eclipse pattern, this eclipse cycle is the perfect time to let it go and to usher in more happiness. But you have to take those actions that say, I want happiness and love in my life. I know my worth and I know my value, and I'm going to put this thorn or this crown on my head. And I don't care how many thorns I have to pick off of the flowers in order to weave it together and create the thorn or the crown that I deserve. I will go through all of the thorns, all of the pain. I know my worth. So I'm going to drop this coin in the wishing well, and I'm going to trust that it's going to come, and then I'm going to walk through the fires because I know that that's what I need to do. And when you take that action, you literally show the world, hey, I heard that judgment call, and I'm going to make this change because I know I deserve and am worth more than what I have and am shown right now in my life. Okay, Libras, let's shift over to the October 31st, November 1st, first quarter moon in Aquarius and your 5th house. Okay, Libra, we are back and we are going to be focusing on the October 31st and November 1st, first quarter moon in Aquarius. And this is falling in your 5th house. And we are going to be looking directly at your romantic relationships with this first quarter moon in Aquarius. This is all about the lessons of the soul. This is the energy for us collectively to take action towards healing the heart and healing the hope within our hearts and the faith in ourselves, to give gratitude and to find our truest place in the world. This is a thinning of the veil. So we're connecting with the ancestors of the soul. These are ancestors that have been calling to us on a soul level, ancestors that we are connected to on a soul level, whether it be from our bloodlines, from our place, from a different time, whatever the ancestor is, it's someone who has a connection to us on a soul level, a resonance within our souls. And our ancestors of soul are asking us to connect with them and give them gratitude for the struggles that they had for coming before us, the struggles that they endured so that we had the opportunity to learn and heal ourselves and heal our ancestors and our descendants. Now, there was a message that came through in one of my readings, and I can't remember which one, but I think it was one of my pick a card readings. And it was about ancestors and about the understanding that we are the ancestors right now. Someday, someone somewhere is going to look back in their genealogy, or they're going to do some sort of genetic study, and it's going to be your name in your picture that shows up. And they're going to say, oh my gosh, I'm related to this person. They did X, Y, and Z in their life. I look at all I can do because I'm related to this person. That's the option that they have, that you have at this moment. That's what you're being called to realize, what we're all being called to realize. We are the ancestors right now. Just like our ancestors realized they were the ancestors for us. And so they set things in motion and they planted seeds intending for our own growth outside of themselves in such a beautifully not helpless, but beautifully selfless way to make sure that we wouldn't be helpless. They did that for us. The least we can do is connect to them and say thank you, in my opinion. So our choices and the results and or consequences of the choices that we have made are being highlighted during this moon phase. Now, if you guys caught my last rising sign messages, you know that the first quarter moon phase back then was a bloody chart. The first quarter moon, the third quarter moon, all quarter moon phases are bloody charts. They're just tense energies. There's a lot of tense aspects to them. And this is about this, that happens because of the placement of the sun and the moon. But because Saturn is in Aquarius during this time, our choices and their results and consequences are being hyper amplified. And it's being amplified through excessive tensions and triggers. And this is in order to bring a greater clarity internally to how we are or are not being loving and nurturing and empathetic towards ourselves. And then realizing that when we are these things towards ourselves, we actually diffuse the tension and the anger that we have when we are triggered, and we're able to bring a deeper, more loving energy into our family, both on the physical plane and the spiritual plane. There are gifts and blessings of freedom in this moon phase found through healing the self from the pains of the past. Now, there's a book series that I love. It's one of my favorites. It's called the Fever series. And there's a character in this series called and his name is Jericho Barons, and he says, stay to the light. And the reason he says stay to the lights to the main character is because there's dark fae in the book that are called shadows, and they're like this blob. And if you walk into an area where the shadow is, it can consume you and leave you just as like a husk of what you were before. This is about realizing about the light that we have within. The moon is making a parallel to Pluto. So we discount where the moon is, where Pluto is, the houses, everything. We're just looking at the moon and Pluto. It's an awareness that the calling of the soul can be one which brings greater healing. And this healing comes through knowing that the darkness brings blessings. Understanding that magic is what we make of it in this life and in this world, and that the emotions that we feel are meant to be blessings of this experience we call the journey of life. This is an energy about balancing the truth of the self through knowing the light within. So, Libra, this is about seeing your actual value when you're in interpersonal relationships, and especially in committed, loving partnerships. Whether or not you're in a committed and loving partnership, we have the rings and we have the Eight of Swords. So this is actually coming through in two different energies. The first one is to be in a connection where there is this high level of commitment, like a ring, a marriage, something like that, is to be trapped. So there's that's one mentality that I'm picking up. The other mentality is that you may feel trapped in your marriage. And neither one of these are what Spirit intended for you to feel. Now, remember that the Eight of Swords energy is literally the energy of trapping yourself within your own mind based off of your perceptions of self or others that is not accurate or reflective. And I see why. Because in the past, whether this is the most recent past, or perhaps for you, you've had a lot of stuff coming up from the past. You're looking at broken hearts, things left unsaid, things left unfinished. Essentially, there's just a lot of pain that has made you feel like you either can't get into a commitment because it's like this damned if you do, damned if you don't energy. And Spirit's like, this is in the past. The reason why you feel trapped here is because you're still holding on to the pains of the past. What you're being called to do now, the energy you're being called to now, is to start building something new. Just start creating something new so that you can walk away into the future with a new mindset and connections, true connections. Look, she's with two other people. This is about knowing that you're worthy of true connections. But you have to see true connections as being something that is a worthwhile endeavor. Look, she's with two people, they're creating. She's with two people, they are moving forward in their life. You're not meant to feel trapped by commitment. You're meant to feel free because true commitment frees you. It doesn't trap you. It frees you. True love frees you. It does not trap you. You don't have to try and be anything or anyone else. And the Eight of Swords is literally you trapping yourself. And what I'm hearing is you're trapping yourself in the past. You're trapping yourself in the past, focused on this pain, feeling like I cannot come into a happy, harmonious relationship because I'm trapped in this pain. And Spirit's like, can you rebuild this, please? Can you ground these positive emotions instead of the negative emotions? Ground the positive mindsets instead of the negative mindsets. Work with your guides, work with Spirit. They're literally like, it's okay to ask us for help. It's okay to ask us to help you get out of this. We're here for that. We're here to help you with that. We want you to heal. The Six of Swords is all about healing and moving on. They want you to heal. They want you out of this Eight of Swords energy because commitment is not meant to lock you down and trap you. You're meant to be freed by this. The love that you feel and the love that you have to share is meant to be a freeing thing. But you have to free yourself from the past before you can get there. So let's see what your ancestors have to say. We have apples in the card 4. To taste one must swallow it whole. And beneath the satin flame hides drowning waters. Okay, so essentially what this is saying is in order for you to move on, you have to really evaluate all of the pain that you went through and say, okay, I don't want this anymore. I am going to move on. But there's also the concept that if you want a connection, but you want your connection to follow this guideline and that guideline and this guideline and that guideline, the brutal truth that your ancestors want you to realize is if you're going to get into a connection, you have to accept the person as a whole human being. They're not a pet project for anyone to fix. They're a whole human being here. And so are you. You're not a pet project that needs to be fixed. You both are meant to have that passionate outside, but that deep emotional connection internally with each other. And you have to accept the wholeness of who you are and the wholeness of the connection that you have in order for this to work out the way it's meant to work out. So we have home and simple acts of kindness. Kindness energizes you and brings happiness to those around you. Card 5. So we've got 3, 4, 5, and 6. This is telling me that you need to really focus on the center, the core, the middle part. This is about learning to focus on that internal. So when I look at the home card or tap into the energy of the home card, what I'm really feeling with it so strongly is this energy of that clean it up that I've been getting. Like I had to clean up my area, clean up the home, clean up the energy, clean up the space, do something kind for someone else. If you're in a committed relationship, wash that person's like underwear or socks and fold them randomly. Like if it's not something that you normally do, just do something like that. Do something small. It doesn't have to be something huge. You're trying to shift the energy. And if you genuinely need something to help bring in more kind energy for you to shift your energy, tell your partner. If you're looking for someone in love and you're not in that partnership and you're just afraid of that, Do something kind to somebody else and see the tumble down effect that it has, and then realize what it means to actually extend love to another person. When you can see it on a small scale, you can start imagining it on a much greater scale. And this is all about moving beyond the pain from the past. This is about healing your heart and feeling that hope again. All right. We have accept love. You see? Do you see this? I could not have made this up if I tried. And then we have 3, Tower, unplug and relax for a spell. And this is Tower, not like the tower falling, but this is like a crystal tower. It's strong, it's steady, it's firm. This is asking you to unplug yourself from anything online that's telling you that things are toxic. Okay, so Spirit wants me to use myself as an example. I was going through a lot of deep emotional healing surrounding relationships, and I have been for about 3 years. I noticed a huge toxic pattern of mine would be I would go to pick a cards and I'd pick a pile that just elicited nothing but fear. And it's not that the reader was wrong. It's not that the reader was off. It's literally that I was picking out of a state of fear. And it took me actually watching one of Celtic Fairy Tarot's readings where it literally my ancestors sent a card that said, stop watching love, pick a cards. Your shadow or your fear is picking those piles, not your heart. Something along those lines. And I was like, that's so damn true, because I had stopped watching them for quite a while ago. I won't engage in it. And if there's any readings that have that, I will walk away. And the reason why is not because it's a bad topic. It's because I know and I value what I need in my life. And what I need in my life is to trust my own heart. And no one knows my heart better than I know myself. And the reason I'm telling you this is because no one knows your heart better than you know yourself. But the more that you lock yourself down and stay in a state of fear, the more that you keep yourself from having a happy and loving home, the more that you keep yourself from feeling at home within yourself and being able to accept random acts of kindness and being able to heal your heart and accept love because you don't believe it's possible because you've been hurt and stabbed and just destroyed so much. So now it's time to let yourself really relax out of that energy. When you relax out of that energy, that 8 of Swords energy just kind of dissipates. It just does. When you realize that you're the only one that's trapping yourself, but that real love doesn't trap, real love frees, that's when you get your freedom. Remember the light that you have within and the heart that you have, because it's important and it matters. All right, Libras, let's move on to the full moon total lunar eclipse. All right, Libras, I am back. I do want to apologize if you can hear the background humming. It got really cold in my office. The weather is turning pretty chilly. I actually think I might have seen some of that dreaded S word here in the Northern Hemisphere, that snow thing. But we are going to move on to the November 8th full moon total lunar eclipse in Taurus. And we're going to focus on the lunar eclipse energies. And, you know, I needed to step away for a little bit before I could continue on. And I just saw 5544. So that may be significant for some of you. Because there was a change in the energy. I was so deeply uncomfortable, but this is a new change in energy. So this lunar eclipse is a liminal or a middle place of the transformational changes that we have been undergoing with the eclipse patterns in Taurus. And this started in 2004. With this particular eclipse, we have Mars and Black Moon Lilith both out of bounds still. Mars is now retrograde and they are paralleling each other. So they're literally like screwing all the astrological rules and saying like, no, we're not doing this. But they are working together. And that's a big thing because both of these energies are known to be kind of combative, astrologically speaking, but they're now working together, but it's not in a combative way. They're working together for transformation, to transform our perception of toxic divine masculine energy, the abandoning father archetype, the silenceable divine feminine energy, and giving way to a rebirth through changing those inner fears that whisper lies to us. This eclipse is about eclipsing that hardship mentality surrounding creation from the heart and soul to give way to a new illumination, to see that there is a fertility in softness, that there is a luxury that is personal growth, and that we are able to bring forth more beauty into the world. The missing piece, the message that I got is the missing piece of all creation is the heart. The true nature that the heart is the beauty is something that we seem to forget. We can redeem our lives through the awareness that the painful stings of the past make us immune to the poison once we recognize the true strength that we have within each and every one of us in getting back up and sharing our heart's creativity. There is a beauty in living as a conduit of energy, healing, and creation between the heavens and the earth. And we have an opportunity during this lunar eclipse to allow for a mediation of the tension internally between the divine masculine and the divine feminine through the purity and the innocence of the love that is our inner child. Because our inner child knows nothing but love. Now, the energy that we're working with is a 16 and 7 energy. It's a tower and a chariot energy. And this is about the rising of a strong Mars in Cancer. And the concept of a rising of a strong Mars in Cancer is one that is kind of unfathomable for the sake that Mars in Cancer is considered in fall, astrologically speaking. But what a strong Mars in Cancer is it's the truest power of an emotionally aware divine masculine. That's a divine masculine who's a harbinger of peace, not war. And this is learned through Saturn, what Saturn is teaching us. The Sun, the Moon, Mercury, Venus, and Uranus are all squaring off with Saturn in Aquarius. And this means that it's time to learn the lessons of change and evolution, and to find the karmic blessings of the individual from the collective past through willingly modernizing and no longer holding on to power out of fear. Now, for you, Libras especially, I get the feeling that you've been seeing, you're in this omens energy with the eye. It's like you're seeing all these internal omens, internal signs and synchronicities. You may be having very vivid dreams, or as you move into this phase, say I'm actually hearing the number 3. So like 3 days prior to this moon phase, you may find yourself having much more vivid dreams. And really like earth-shattering kind of dreams that might elicit fear, but really what you're being asked by your higher self to become aware of is how in touch you are with Mother Nature, and understanding that Mother Nature has her own agenda. She moves in her own way. And sometimes we can feel as though we want to go to war over certain things, but really we're being asked to strategize. Now, your energy is shifting from this 5 of water into a 6 of air. And we just had you in that 6 of swords energy. Again, we're put back into the 6 of air or 6 of swords energy. But from your higher self, this card talks about familiars. It talks about the comfort of getting in touch with the animal kingdom. On both sides, this is Mother Nature and the animal kingdom. And in the middle, this card, this 5 of water, actually talks about strategy. It doesn't talk about war. It talks about strategy. It talks about broken lines of communication and how to rebuild it, how to move forward with it, how to relearn this. And this is something that I talked about in my Mars retrograde guidebook, how I went through a phase where I had to actually relearn communication with the outside or with the spiritual realm because the ways in which I communicated just didn't resonate anymore. Sometimes that happens and your higher self is letting you know that if you feel like there's a break in communication and you don't understand the signs and synchronicities anymore, or they just don't feel right anymore, there's a new way of communicating. And especially when it comes to the cycles of nature, the world around you, and animals. Let's find out what your guides have to say. We have Mischief, 25. Keep your eyelids open and sight sharp as nails, for there is something trailing behind your tail. There is this energy where you're, it's like you think, it's like you're looking for certain things. There are omen signs, synchronicities coming towards you, but it's making you feel like you have to be hyper vigilant. And I don't get that sense. But if you think about there's something trailing behind your tail. Okay, so out on my deck, I've got these gourds. And then I had sets of gourds on each side of my house. Slowly over time, the gourds started disappearing. I'd come out and there would be one missing from like my porch or from the side ones. And then I'd have gourds where there were little chunks taken out of it. There were squirrels that were taking my gourds. But I could look at it like, oh, I put these out in honor of Mabon. I put these out in honor of an internal abundance. And now they're being taken from me by the animal kingdom. And the animal kingdom is just stripping me of my intention. No, you know what they're doing? They're showing me that there's such abundance in what I have that they want to partake. And in doing so, they're preparing for the winter. And so I am being shown by the animal kingdom and by Mother Nature that just as I have prepared, or I have helped her animals be prepared for the coming winter months, so too will I have that level of preparation and protection in the winter months in my own home. It's a beautiful thing. But when you see it in a sense of mischief, then it can make you feel like you have to go to war because you don't understand the signs and synchronicities. So sometimes not sometimes, in this case, what I'm getting, your higher self and your ancestors are asking you to take a step back. And when you feel like there's something going on, something that isn't right, something that is wrong, take a step back and look at everything around you and find the message that is there. Because it may not be what you think it is, but it may not be as bad as you think it is either. Everything is about the perception that we put towards it. Your perception is going to determine whether or not these things are truly bad omens. And a lot of the time we can look at omens and think of them in terms of the absolute worst case scenario. You know, I had a dream this summer and my house was on fire. But even though I knew my house was on fire, the only thing that I saw in my dream was my laptop on fire. And my laptop was the item that had all of my writing on it. And it was one of the most destructive, like emotionally painful dreams because I remember watching in that dream, being inside of my body and watching it and just screaming in agonizing pain because all of the work that I had done in my life, the work that made me feel like I had purpose, I was watching burn. And it was so painful. It was so debilitating in my heart. I was down in Florida, so I had to call my husband about it because it was truly that painful in my heart. It felt so real. But it was literally a message to show me because I was hitting a point in my life. I was hitting a point in my journey on writing the retrograde guidebooks again prior to the video I posted. because this was way back during the summer, I was hitting this point where I was starting to toggle back and forth of whether I was going to write Mars's retrograde guidebook or not. I was on Chiron and I wasn't sure that I was going to do Mars. And it was literally that dream manifested to show me how I would feel if I had walked away, how I would feel if I had not done what I knew and I had contracted and I had agreed with the planets and spirit to do. Sometimes it's about it's not about what we see or feel. It's about how we interpret what we see and what we feel. And that's where this strategy comes in. You can either view it in a sense of the light, or you can view it in the sense of having to swing the sword. And it depends on how you do that, how you choose that. So let's see what else we have. We have empowerment. This is what you're learning. You're learning to empower yourself from the things that have made you feel as though it's negative, it's small, it's bad. And look, the colors of this empowerment card are so similar and resonant with this omens card. This is where your empowerment comes from. Reading the signs, reading the synchronicities, reading into the omens in the right way. And then we have the card 24, focus on love. Look for the good in everyone. This is exactly what I'm saying. It's about your perception. It says, look for the good in everyone. And you can do that naturally. But when you feel attacked, when you feel like there's something going on, something coming at you, it's hard to focus on the love. It's hard to feel that empowered. It's hard to be in that centered place. So take this reading and allow that to help you remember that you are capable of having this kind of perception instead of the negative one. Let's get your closing ones. We have tears of joy and sadness. Again, this is again saying, look, in the mirror, it's tears of joy. But when she's looking into the mirror, it's tears of sadness. It's about the reflection, the perception that you have. This is what is going to determine everything. And your higher self is just kind of screaming. It's about your perception. And then we have 25, mural, be your own first priority. And again, something on fire here. So this is literally saying, like, yes, there can be a situation that makes you feel sad, but can you find the joy in it? Can you find the love? Can you find the good? Can you find the empowerment of this? Can you be your first priority and see how it comes down to you? Everything comes down to you on this one. So focus on the love and focus on the empowerment, and whatever comes in, allow it to be what it is. Allow it to be what it is. All right, let's move on and close out with the third quarter moon in Leo and your 11th house. Okay, Libra, we are back. And we are now on the third quarter moon in Leo. This is happening on November 16th. And this is a Devil and Lovers Day. So this is about the choices that we make and being true to the choices that we make and not allowing those choices to really dictate and determine our mentality. So with this moon phase, we have Venus at the 0 degree in Sagittarius. And that puts Venus at a new start within the realm of Sagittarius. And this is about the belief in love that we have, taking aim for the future. So we are going to take aim at the future in a state of love. The Sun and Mercury in Scorpio plus Venus and Sagittarius are squaring off with the moon. So what we do with this is we look for a way out. The way out is through Mars retrograded in Gemini. Mars is interacting with the moon in a very easygoing flow and a flexibility energy with the sun. So it's learning how to be flexible in our own view of love and the ways of speaking with the divine through an emotional ease, plus stepping into divine flow for creative solutions so we can integrate the changes within ourselves and our lives and embody that duality of being a shapeshifter in our life. The energy that I got, the message I got is this is about excising shame through guarding the inner creative fields for true change to blossom within. And not just within ourselves, but within our lives. We want to really nurture those inner creative fields. We want to really nurture that part of ourselves. But first, we have to forgive the struggles and the tensions of all the prior hierarchical structures that made us believe that we have to fight and battle and wage war, and instead make a conscious decision to change this perception and this hierarchical structure into a healthy and loving, welcome equality for a new world and reality to be created. And it's one which we're already creating. Now, all quarter moons come with tension because they're the moment in which the sun and the moon come into a square aspect. It's a 90-degree aspect or a right angle. Whatever planets are transiting or traveling with the sun and the moon, they become energetically involved. So for instance, it's like person A out on a playground is interacting with person B. Now they have an interaction and they have an argument. They go off and they tell their respective groups of friends. Now their groups of friends are energetically involved in the interaction between these two. It's literally like high school. It's like high school in the cosmos. We'll look at it that way. When this happens, the energy and the tension between the sun and the moon become heightened because they are our most personal planets. So we feel that even more. Now, when I say the right angle, the right is associated with divine masculine energy. This means we're called to use the energy of the planets, the sun, the moon, and the planets that are energetically involved in order to lessen the tension on our divine masculine through taking action or being receptive to feminine energies, divine feminine energies. For you, this is all about entrepreneurship. Like just plain cut and dry, this is about you balancing your divine masculine and divine feminine energies in the realm of entrepreneurship. That's what I'm getting because the King of Wands is the entrepreneurial card of the tarot. But more than that, with the romance, this is Venus and Mars energy. This is divine masculine, divine feminine flowing together. This is that 3 energy. So then what you have been coming from is learning your own strength in this realm, learning your own strength and making your hopes and dreams a reality and making your hopes and dreams come true. And you're now stepping into a state of clarity as this Queen of Swords. Give me just one moment, guys. My dogs are going kind of crazy. I'll be right back. Okay, guys, I'm sorry. I am back. My husband and son just got home. They were playing Dungeons and Dragons tonight, and so it kind of brought some chaos in. I needed to make sure I handled that before I continued on with your reading. All right, so you guys have come into this Queen of Swords, this clarity, this divine feminine clarity energy again. I said again. I feel like this is something that, we started this off this way. You had the Queen of Swords in that very first moon phase. So this is, it's almost like an elevated energy of that because now you're in it. And prior, it almost felt like somebody brought some sort of clarity to you. But now you're standing in this Queen of Swords energy. You're going cut and dry. This is what I need in my life. And Spirit is really asking you to be willing to embrace this energy, to embody this energy, and then to move forward with this Knight of Cups. And to me, the Knight of Cups is not about romance ever, even though you have the romance rune. To me, the Knight of Cups is literally the card of passion. It is the card about emotional passion. It is following your heart. It is leading with your heart. It is moving with your heart. And this is all about your hopes, your dreams, and how to make it into a business, how to make it into a wealthy endeavor. This is about letting yourself be absolutely clear in your divine feminine energy so she can direct your divine masculine to follow your passions. That's a beautiful, beautiful thing. Like, that's a beautiful energy. And I want to cry for you guys because you're literally being given the green light from Spirit to be like, live your passion, sweetie. Live your passionate dream because that's what's going to build your future. That's where your hopes are built. Let's see what your ancestors have to say. Haunted. 21, the breaking of the floor beneath your naked feet, the creaking of the walls as the cold kisses flesh. You're never really alone when in the company of hauntings within the bone. This card came up for another sign, and I'm not going to mention it, but the energy for this with you guys is telling me a lot. This is telling me that you have felt so alone on this journey, and your ancestors are acknowledging that. You have felt cold and left out and alone and really haunted by choices and haunted by things in the past. But there is this beautiful essence of it's all kind of seeping out now. It's like your ancestors, these are the hands of your ancestors from the spirit realm, and they're just kind of pulling this coldness and this sadness from you. And they're also reaching out to put, I'm seeing them like reaching out and putting hands on like the top of your head and your shoulders and your back, and like comforting you and soothing you and letting you know you're not alone, so that you have this strength and this power and this drive to move forward. Because the choices that you made in the past, they may have been hard. They may have left you feeling like you had to withdraw into yourself, or that you had to withdraw from the world, or something had to change. And I don't know what it is, but I can feel it. I can feel it, where it's been like, I don't have any love. I don't have any support. So now what am I going to do? And you just literally like overhauled or did some massive change. And now Spirit's like, please just follow your passion, and your guides and your ancestors are really supporting that. And your ancestors are saying, you're never alone. We're here. We're with you. We, like, down to the marrow in your bone, we are connected to you. You don't ever have to feel alone, because we're never going to leave you alone. And I don't mean that in like a haunted ghost way. Like, sorry. Like, there's always going to be one energy that's like, oh, I'm going to be haunted. Ooh, spooky. And I'm like, come on. There's always one, there's always one. But I love you guys anyways. So we have manifestation, and then slow down, pause, and allow things to unfold. And that's the number 9. And Spirit actually just said, flip them all. So let's go. We've got rebirth and reinvention. And you guys had that rebirth energy before. And 43, spaceship, don't be afraid to sing. Okay, so when I say follow your passions, this is literally what you manifested. You manifested this chance to just kind of take a break, to take it slow, for things to come to you. That's that Queen of Swords energy that you're in. You're like, no, I'm going to stand here and everything is going to come to me. Look, they are both out in the water. So it's like you plopped yourself straight down in the middle of the ocean and was like, I'm just going to bring it all into me. Just bring all that energy to me, because I am open and I am receptive to it. I am rebirthing myself. I am reinventing myself. And I trust that I'm going to do that. So I'm going to sing as loud as I freaking want to, because it's my freaking passion, and I'm going to live my passion no matter what. And nobody and no one and nothing is ever going to stop me. If I want to rest, I'm going to rest. If I want to go, I'm going to go. This is the life that I've manifested. And it may be that you just didn't realize that this was the life that you manifested, because you felt so alone during the manifestation. But sometimes that's the process we have to go through. We have to be withdrawn and go through the rebirth and go through the reinvention in order for our manifestations to come through. So we don't go through our lives feeling haunted and feeling like we can never achieve what we're meant to achieve. We can actually have the manifestation come in because we understand it that much more. And that's really what you're moving through now, is this understanding that you wanted to live your passion. And so Spirit made all of the conditions possible, but it wasn't an easy process, and it hurt. And it's being acknowledged. Thank you. It's being deeply acknowledged from Spirit and your guides. And yes, I thanked my stone. I always do that when I finish readings, and then I cleanse them in between. So let's get some final messages for you, Libra signs. My loves, my loves, my loves. Yeah, like I said, I got such strong energy with you guys. It was very overpowering. It was very like lay the hammer down and then gentle, easy does it kind of energy. Like now I just kind of want to, I said the same thing with my Cancers. I just kind of want to wrap you guys in bubble wrap. I have the feeling that Scorpio season is going to be a hell of a season for a few signs. And for you guys, I really am feeling that. But I want you guys to know that you have all the preparation ahead of time, but you have all the strength within you. You really do. So we've got Ogum and nature. You see, this is that Mother Nature energy again. You're really learning your own nature and your own natural cycles as well. That's a really big thing. When you learn your own natural cycles, we've got ornithomancy with omen. You see, this is we had that omens card and we talked about animals. This is all that same energy. Your higher self is just reiterating that lunar eclipse energy. You may be seeing swallows, and then we have black cat, good luck. Okay, so this is literally saying like, go out in nature and really connect to the animal kingdom because they're going to be omens of good luck. And here we've got oracle and wisdom. Tap into the wisdom of your own soul. Tap into what you know about yourself. Tap into your truest essence. Remember, everything is about your perception. So if you choose to look at an omen as a negative thing, you're going to see it as a negative thing. You know, the black cat actually used to be seen as bad luck, not good luck. And now the truth of the matter is that it's a good luck omen. And so this is saying it's about the perception that you hold. The wisdom is in the perception because you can literally see it's coming from her head. The wisdom is literally based off of your perception. So get in touch with your natural optimistic nature and see all the signs and synchronicities that spirit has all around you, that everything is a go, everything is a positive, everything is what it's meant to be, and in that positive state, because that's what you're moving into. All right, Libras, this is all I'm seeing for you. I want to say thank you so much for being here. Thank you to your guides and my guides for facilitating the connection between our energies. And thank you so much to Spirit for bringing forth these energies. Even though I was incredibly uncomfortable, I always and will forever feel ever so blessed to bring forth these messages and to bring this awareness into the world. So thank you so much, Spirit. All right, Libras, if this resonated, please hit that like button. Don't forget to subscribe to my channel and hit the notification bell so you don't miss any of my upcoming videos. And down in the description box, you will find links to my author page. Don't forget to check out Mars's retrograde. That way you work with the energies and not against it. It will really help you. And let us know in the comment section below how you're doing. Reach out. There are others. Remember that your message and your energy is all about teamwork and not being afraid to ask for help. All right, Libras, thank you again so much for being here. I love you all. Bye. Your page.